Hello, dear viewer, and welcome back to this second video in the series of two on how to connect your visual components to Control Expert, and we are going to do that by using Kepserver to act as a communications platform between those two, or to facilitate, transferring the data. So what we will do is set up visual components to grab some information from Kepserver. And to start with, Helge already made a really good tutorial on how to do that. So I will be using that, sharing that with you, and going through it as in a live demo right now. To start with, we want to work with the with Kepware, and I want to set up the UA configuration. So what I'm having here, let me just explain my setup right here. In the right side of the screen, I have my virtual machine running with my Control Expert, and in the left here in the background, I have my visual component that's ready to run. Down here, I have my Kepserver EX with the information ready where we left it from last time. So what I'm gonna do here is start with getting some information out of Kepware. I will go down here and get some config done. I want to enable for you in the beginning. This is probably not going to be enabled. So I want to enable this second one down here as a URL, and double click or edit it. I want this information here, and then I want to copy it and then paste it in Visual Component. As you can see, I am choosing no security here, so none to start with. I'll just cancel because I haven't done any changes, but for you it could be okay. And then when I have that, I want to go down and create some new users. I have that address in my clipboard, so I'll just keep it there for now. The next thing I'm going to do, again, keep in mind that it's in my main machine, not in my virtual machine. I want to right click Kepserver EX here and then go down to settings, because I want to create some new users. For you, it might be up here if you haven't clicked it yet. The user manager tab is what we're looking for. So I want to create an administrator here for Visual Component, and I want to create a user for Visual Component as well. So I have this VC down here, and then another VC admin up here. You will have to create one by clicking right click, add user, create a name, and then choosing a password. I already did exactly that, and then you go ahead and click OK, because those are the credentials that I'm going to use down in Visual Component to access the information in Kepserver. Now that we have those in check, I want to go down to Visual Component. For you, this is probably going to be empty, or you've already worked with it a bit. You may have some projects saved, but let's say we're starting over. A small parenthesis that I want to make here. I've been encountering lots of problems with permissions and it not working. So please keep in mind, if you're getting any errors, run things as an administrator. That includes Visual Components, that includes Kepserver EX, both configuration and the administration. Because for example, when I'm in my main machine here and I write Kepserver, I have two of them. I have Kepserver configuration and Kepserver administration. The administration is the thingy that goes down here, and then the other one is my configuration panel over here that I'm going to use to get the values out of my variables. Good. So what I want to do is go down to connectivity, the connectivity tab inside of Visual Component. You might get scared right now because you don't have a connectivity tab. Don't be too scared. If you go to your settings, where is that at? Options, is it here? Then you should find your add-ons over here, and one of them is called connectivity. Enable it down here. You need that enabled. By default, it's disabled. I have it enabled, so I have it enabled, so it's over here. What I want to do is create a server under OPC UA. So you simply right click and then add server. You will then get a server here. when you get a server here, you want to edit the connection. I have it over here, the edit connection button. Go and edit the connection because I opened the server now, but I need to make some fine adjustments to that. Good. Probably I have it in another tab right now because it's not showing up, my edit connection. Let me check. Edit connection. I can't really see it. I'll just go full screen on this. Let me just minimize it. PC UA, is it because it's running? I'm pretty sure it's because it's running. Yes, now I can. It was because I was running for the last long time. So you go edit connection under here while it's not running, and then the address you just copied, you want to paste it here under the connection server address, and you just made an admin user down in here in the settings for your Kep server. You just write down your credentials and then press test connection. Maybe the chances are you're gonna encounter some issues here because I know I was troubleshooting for several hours when I was doing this. So you just need to keep going back and forth between checking whether you have administrator rights on the on all the software all the softwares that you had. And for me, it also helped to reinitialize my Kep server. So stop running the runtime and then restart it again, and then it worked. It could be causing problems. Maybe look through your firewall as well. My firewall is right now activated. Maybe you want to create some rules to create some to allow some software through your firewall. That includes Visual Component. That includes Kep server as well. Good. Let's hope if you were still getting errors, you can pause the video now. But let's assume that your connection is working like it does for me. Remember to press apply to save all of your settings. Now, the good thing is we have a connection between Kep server and our Visual Components. So again, I have my my Kep server here and my virtual machine up here. All of these three are interconnected now. I want to go on my server to simulation. It goes two ways. Simulation to server if I want to write some data from here, from Visual Components into, what is it called? Into Kep server. And then server to simulation if I want to drag some data from the Kep server to here. Remember to turn on the server, by the way, I forgot that. Connect by clicking it here. Boom. What I did here is I chose a simple light, a 3-light, device that just goes green, yellow, and red. What I want to do is I want to use some of our variables that we have in the other software or in our control expert to control these. So what I did is I simply drag this one in, and then I go to connectivity, right click here, and then add variables. What happens here is you get this this big window where in the left part you'll see the components that you have in visual components, 3D components, and to the right you have your variables that you are getting from Kep server. So if I open this, then I can see my my channel here through Modbus from Kepware, dragging information from Control Expert. Then I click my my M580, which is my PLC, and then I just can see my information here. When you click, let's say green, and then you click your KW input 0, you can pair these two. That means the Boolean value in here is connected to the Boolean value there. You can see the link here in the left side. That means I already linked them. And you can do the exact same thing with different types of gear. For me, it's just a simple example because I want to show you how this works. Then you press pair selected and you have a pair there. Let's test this out. We have it here. You can see the green is connected to KW input 0. My yellow is connected to KW input 1. And they're false right now because if I go into my my Kepware, then I can see that their values, they are, let's just try on a test, go here. This is their value, it's 0. for inputs. KW input 0 and 1, there is 0. Where else can I see this? Where I can see and control it in my virtual machine with my table down here. So I have the data editor where I put in my variables, and then the table down here where I have my my control over variables. So let's minimize this again just to show you, and then control these at the same time. I'll just move this a tiny bit. So what happens here is my my Kepware server here is going to drag information or pull information from my control expert, and my visual component is going to connect to Kepware and get that information. So I change it here, it goes, I change it in control expert, it goes to Kepware, and then Kepware feeds it further to my, what is it called? My visual component. I'll just press play here. So this is my light setup. I'll go to my to my control expert and try to play with the variables. Let's put this to 1. Then we can see through Kepware I get a green light. Let's try to make this one a 1. Then I get a yellow. Let's make this 0 again. Boom. So this is how it works. And this is how you can feed all sorts. You can also feed strings, you can feed memory words, you can send integers and everything. So this is it for the example now. A showcase of how you can connect your control expert with your Kepware server and then feed it further on to your visual component to control data from the PLC and control your simulation down in visual components. Thank you for watching, and have fun working on your project with this simulation.